Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Got a story involving General Motors denying a warranty claim over a tiny bolt. And it's an interesting one, but this type of thing does pop up from time to time. I specialize in lemon law, so I get phone calls all the time from people who say, Steve, I bought a car, got a problem with it, should be covered by warranty, but the dealership said for some odd reason it's not going to get covered by warranty. And is that fair? And is it legal? So Scott sent me this story from carscoops.com. Stephen Rivers wrote it. Stephen with a PH. GM denied the C8 Corvette warranty after spotting something on a tiny bolt. A disputed steering repair and a suspicious red detail leave one C8 Corvette owner battling General Motors after his extended warranty claim was denied. And keep in mind, there's a couple different things that people often just interchangeably talk about, and that is warranties and service contracts, and extended warranties, which are often service contracts. So, Corvette ownership's always walked a line between dream and reality, says Mr. Rivers. It's not meant to be a temperamental, wallet-draining exotic, but rather the attainable giant slayer, a supercar you can actually drive and maintain. But those expectations can end up challenged in a big way when repairs collide with dealership procedures. A C8 owner says that's exactly what he's facing after his warranty claim was denied over some Loctite found during an electrical failure diagnosis. Now, Loctite is a brand of adhesive often used in automotive work, particularly for securing bolts against vibration-related loosening. It's common across industries from watchmaking to engine bays. So as you can imagine, you're putting a bolt into something that's vibrating when it's in use. And bolts can vibrate their way back out. And so what you do is you put this stuff on there, and when you put it in there, it's not quite like glue, but it's got a similar characteristic to it. And by simply putting that in there, it'll often keep something from vibrating its way back out. In a Facebook post, the owner says that a short while ago, he noticed that one of the buttons on his steering wheel wasn't working. Very, very simple problem. One button on the steering wheel wasn't functioning at all, despite several things he'd done to try to wake it up. And there's apparently troubleshooting things you can do to try to wake up malfunctioning buttons. So he took it to the dealer, believing it'd be covered under warranty. Now, he bought the Corvette used with 12,000 miles on it, and he thought it was still under warranty. But he also had paid extra for a GM Platinum warranty along with it. And so that's the factory warranty on a brand new car generally runs from the date of delivery forward a year or two or three or whatever it might be, or so many miles, whichever comes first. You can often stack on top of that an extended warranty or a platinum warranty or a service contract, whatever they want to call it, that'll say, well, this will take over when the first one runs out. And sometimes they'll offer you things that aren't offered by the manufacturer's warranty on top of it. So in other words, you buy this service contract or this platinum warranty, you might get, like, say, rental car coverage if your vehicle is being serviced that you might not get otherwise. So there's often all kinds of other things going on there. But the first thing you always have to ask is the extended service contract or the extended warranty being offered through the manufacturer or through a third party? Because I've actually been in a dealership before buying a car, and the salesperson goes, you want to buy this warranty? And I look at it and I go, who's that with? It's like, Bob's Warranty Shack out of Texas. No, I'd rather have one from the manufacturer. And I actually had a dealership person go, no, you don't. You want to get the third party. And I'm like, are you telling me the manufacturer's own warranty isn't good? It's a real bad sales technique. But anyways, so this right here, this owner says that he got the GM Platinum warranty. So this is a warranty through General Motors. So he brought the car in, and the dealer said, oh yeah, button problem on the steering wheel, not a problem, we'll cover it under warranty. But then, when technicians were getting into it, they found Loctite on the bolts inside the steering wheel assembly, which they said was red Loctite, and it shouldn't be there. Because apparently, when the vehicle is manufactured, they don't use red Loctite to put together the steering wheel. So they were under the impression that somebody had already taken the steering wheel apart and put it back together again at least once. And if somebody had gotten in there and done something like that, they might have caused the problem that is now subject to this repair. So the owner pushed back, saying that he was convinced the car was bone stock, had 12,000 miles on it when he bought it, and that he personally knew the previous owner who did nothing to the car. Still, the diagnosis shifted from a simple switch replacement to requiring an entirely new steering wheel, which, number one, is now on back order, and number two, they said we're not going to pay for the repair because the repair, we believe, may have been caused or may have been necessitated by something someone else did to the steering wheel that was not an authorized GM dealer. So in the Corvette community discussions that followed, several members tried to clarify how these decisions unfold. Some noted that while a dealer's observations carry weight, the service contract provider generally makes the final call. And again, is that General Motors or somebody else? And so one thing you have to understand is that a lot of times, and I've spoken to so many people at car dealerships, that someone at the dealership will look at something and go, we think this is a problem. But they're not the ones who pay for warranty repairs done under warranty. The manufacturer or the contract provider does that. So usually they have to call to get an authorization. And even if the authorization gets denied, you can sometimes ask to speak to a service manager or a zone rep or a zone manager, and you want to speak to the person who represents the manufacturer who's the one making that call. Because some of these are obviously judgment calls. And so you might think that somebody who buys, although it's a used car, a fairly expensive car that's the flagship of a particular manufacturer, and they're bringing it to the dealership of that manufacturer for repairs, that you might want to give them a little more leeway than the average person. But others pointed out the practical reality that once a repair order mentions non-factory thread locker or signs of prior disassembly, approval becomes significantly harder. Here's the question. You take the steering wheel apart and you see the Loctite. Was there anything else wrong, though? Because it's possible someone took it apart and put it back together again perfectly. Did the Loctite cause problems? Or does the Loctite simply draw attention to the fact that somebody took it apart and upon closer inspection they found something else? That's another question. So for now, the owner's left with the choice to fight or to pay a $1,700 repair bill, because that's what it costs to buy a new steering wheel, which, by the way, is still on back order. At least it was at the beginning of the video, but I suspect it is now too. So he's continuing to fight. Car Scoop's going to follow the story. If I see a follow-up on this, I will also follow up on it. But again, keep that distinction in mind when you are car shopping. If you're buying a brand new car in particular, and they say, oh, by the way, it comes with a 336, but we can get you this extended warranty or extended service contract, they often will call it a warranty, and it'll often say right on it, extended service contract. And both of them offer you coverage, but keep in mind that an extended service contract is simply a promise to do repairs. It's not quite the same as a warranty. However, under the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, it actually does provide you pretty much the same coverage as a warranty. So it might only be a distinction. It's just something lawyers talk about. But the point simply is this. If it's a third-party warranty, you've always got to ask yourself, what incentive do they have to pay claims? Because, see, General Motors, with their 336, is going to take care of you, or whatever it might be, and take care of you because you're driving a vehicle that you bought from them, and if something goes wrong in the warranty period, they're going to fix it. And on a judgment call, if you handle it properly, there's a good chance they're going to say, okay, let's take care of this guy because he did buy this expensive car from us. On the other hand, Bob's Warranty Shack out of Texas, and I apologize if there's such a company. I don't think there is. I've jokingly used that name before. Nobody's ever complained. But they sell these contracts. They make money off the contracts. Every claim they pay is lost money. Now, you might say, but Steve, that's true of the extended service contracts sold by General Motors also. Yes, but General Motors has an interest in keeping you happy because you're driving one of their products. And that little bit to me means a lot. And I've been at dealerships, like I said before, and I had a salesman telling me all this. And I said, no, I'm not interested. And he kept arguing. And I said, let me guess, you make more money on these than you do on the factory ones, right? He's like, okay, never mind. We don't need to talk about that. That's why. They make more money selling you the third party. Well, if they make more money, there's less money to be given out for repairs. It's just common sense. So one other thing I have to tell you, and this is what I'm most curious about. I've talked to guys who've worked on assembly lines. I had a very good friend who for 20 years put his time in on an assembly line, assembling cars in and around southeastern Michigan for General Motors. And I've heard stories about things on assembly lines. And I also know somebody who bought a brand new car, drove it for a while, and noticed some paint flaking in a very, very odd spot. And there was Bondo underneath the paint. And I remember asking my friend going, who damaged your car? And he goes, I think it happened on the assembly line. I don't know if it was Bondo, but it was body filler. And he goes, imagine that a car gets all the way to the end of the assembly line and it gets dinged. They don't throw the car away, you know? And so there might be repairs done that the owner of the car doesn't know about. What if the car was sitting on the lot before it got sold and somebody noticed the button doesn't work? What if a mechanic took the steering wheel apart and then put it back together again and used Loctite? Now you might say, but Steve, General Motors doesn't authorize the use of Loctite. Do you think every mechanic at every dealership out there goes and pulls the official rules on how to do every single repair and follows them to the letter on every single repair? What if you got a mechanic who said, I don't care that it says don't use Loctite. I don't want that bolt vibrating off, that nut vibrating off. I'm going to use Loctite. You know? And so if this is a one-owner vehicle, this guy is the second owner, but one owner when he bought it, and he knows the previous owner, it's a good chance the dealership might even know the previous owner also, because he may have brought it in on a trade-in, right? And you'd look at it and go, what are the odds that one of these two guys tried taking this apart himself while it was under warranty? Seems like a bit of a stretch. But again, like I said, the real question is, did the person who took it apart before, assuming it got taken apart, did they damage anything in there? Or is that just simply, oh, we found signs of somebody being in there, so we assume that's a problem? So that is an issue. But do keep in mind that if you read the warranty booklet in the glove box of your car, and it describes what they will repair or replace under the warranty period, it does have things that they can exclude for, including abuse, misuse, and so on. And so theoretically, if somebody did tear apart the steering wheel and put it back together again wrong, that would void claims for that component of the car. But again, here we are. So I think we've covered it all, but the real question is, on a $1,700 repair, what are the odds this guy did anything wrong? Now, you might say, but Steve, if somebody else did something wrong that he didn't know about, he still might be out of luck if GM decides to stand here and take this position. Yes. And then the real question is, for $1,700 retail, what's the cost to the manufacturer of that part? What do they have to pay to have it installed? And do they want to lose the goodwill of this customer and all the people who hear this story because of that amount of money, which is substantially less than $1,700? Remember that there's often not a bright line answer to these questions, especially not before a lawsuit, okay? You don't want to have to go to the lawsuit because that just ties you up in litigation for some length of time that you don't want to spend your time wasting. So, Scott, thanks for sending that from carscoops.com. Stephen Rivers wrote it. GM denied the C8 Corvette warranty after spotting something on a tiny bolt. Loctite. Questions or comments? Put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. We are confronted with insurmountable opportunities.